Breaking the News with Des Clark.
And this is Breaking the News, the show that breaks the week's news and asks four opinionated panellists to put it back together again. With me this week are some of the best comics around. On my right, we have Elaine Malcolmson and Jim Smith, and facing them are Josie Long and Ignacio Lopez. In the news this week, a CalMac ferry being built at Ferguson Shipyard faces further delays after safety regulators demanded design changes. Apparently the error came about because when the order from the boat was originally placed, all the measurements were from Noah and Sons and were given in cubits. Donald Trump did not attend the first Republican primary debate in Milwaukee on Wednesday. Posters of Trump were still displayed around the event, although he did ask that his team remove the word wanted. And the leader of the Lib Dems has joined calls to sack Nadine Dorries, calling the MP a dosser. A representative says Nadine will respond in a statement right after Bargain Hunt. Right, you've met the panel. Let's crack on with round one. This is the Broken News round, where our teams have to guess two major stories of the week that have been mashed together into one single news headline. So, Elaine and Jim, can you tell me what this is all about?
Former SNP Finance Secretary Kate Forbes
said that the British Museum can no longer claim that
the Scottish Greens
are safe in its care. Emails sent in 2021 show the museum insisted there was no evidence of theft, but
branded the Greens as a bit preachy.
Is this something to do with Kate Forbes having a go at the Greens?
Yep, that's exactly the right answer. As reported in the news this week, it is the news that Kate Forbes has hit out at the Scottish Government's two Green ministers, Patrick Harvie and Lorna Slater, describing them as urban-centric environmentalists who do not reflect the nation's rural areas. Now, of course, many Scots are actually not as engaged in environmental issues as many think that Greenpeace is a cucumber sandwich. So obviously, Jim, you got the right answer. I'll come to you. Do you think there's anything wrong with green policies that target cities?
Not at all, because being from a rural area, they've certainly been targeting the farmers and all the rest of it. If you remember back to May, we actually had a drought. We had 3 weeks without any rain, so it was getting serious. In fact, the Glasgow City Council were going to have a hosepipe ban, which is going to be called Taps Off.
Elaine, what about you? Do you think there's anything wrong with green policies that target cities?
What do you call them? Urban-centric environmentalists?
Yeah.
I think I saw them at Glastonbury. She was at the Fringe.
Mm-hmm.
She was at the Fringe. She did 3 shows, so even politicians can't afford to do the full run now.
No, I think there is a bit of truth, though, because we need oil for the money, don't we? And but then it's a bad thing because we're filling the atmosphere full of carbon. I have been looking a lot at a climate change model, or Judith Ralston, if she's better known.
Josie, what do you think? Anything wrong with green policies that target cities?
No. What I find is she's using all these really odd terms. Like she was talking about urban-centric environmentalists when she's talking about Patrick Harvie, who also this week was homophobically abused in the street, And then on top of that, she was talking about Humza Yousaf, and she was saying that he didn't seem like a natural leader for Scottish independence. And what was weird was, as she was saying all this stuff, all these dogs just started showing up. And it was at the end of it, it was just full of dogs. I just feel like I don't want to take advice from somebody who believes the rapture is near.
Tell us what you really think, Josie.
I'm just saying.
Ignacio, what about you? What's your take on this? Do you think there's anything wrong with green policies that target cities?
I'm split on it, man, because, I grew up in Mallorca. The country's on fire over there. So, when I come over here, and people maybe aren't taking things as seriously. We started the whole activism on the environment. And I know a lot of that's about stopping people having a good time. I get that, right? Our activist group is called Just Stop Ole.
Well, there you go, Jim. What do you think? Do you think this is it? The honeymoon is over for the SNP and the Greens?
I think if they were to go on honeymoon together, the SNP would want a kind of lavish hot holiday, you know, Ibiza, somewhere like that. Whereas the Greens probably just want to go cycling around Millport.
Elaine, what's your take on the current state of Scottish politics? Is the honeymoon over for the SNP and the Greens?
Well, call me a cynic. But just looking around, you know, maybe just slightly across the Irish Sea, I'm starting to think that power sharing agreements aren't all they're cracked up to be.
What do you think, Josie? Do you think this is it? Is the honeymoon over for the SNP and the Greens?
Well, I think the sad part is that Kate Forbes doesn't even believe that the SNP and Greens should have been allowed to get married in the first place.
Kate Forbes is well known for having to deliver the 2020 Scottish budget with just a few hours to prepare. Many people were impressed by this, except for Kwasi Kwarteng, who wrote his budget on a napkin on the way to work. Well done, Elaine and Jim. You get 2 points for that. It was indeed the news about Kate Forbes and her thoughts on the Scottish Greens. So, Josie and Ignacio, what was the other story we were after?
I think it's from the official most ironic news story of 2023, which is that they found out that someone has stolen loads and loads of artefacts from the British Museum.
Is the right answer. Well done, Josie. Yeah, the British Museum is facing questions after the institution last week said a staff member had been sacked when treasures were reported missing. It's now believed that more than 1,500 objects were stolen, damaged and destroyed in a crisis that is threatening the reputation of the museum. This has led to warnings from Greek archaeologists that treasures such as the Parthenon marbles are not safe in the British Museum and should be returned. An art dealer alerted the British Museum to alleged stolen items from the institution in 2021, but was told that all objects were accounted for. The dealer said they'd been surprised to see a 3,000-year-old Mayan necklace for sale, and even more surprised, it was the QVC deal of the day. Josie, well done in getting the right answer. So what do you make of this news about the British Museum this week?
Well, what's weird is, in totally unrelated news, this week I lost my job at the British Museum. And also, in totally unrelated news, I've got a stall now at the boot sale in Polmadie, you know that one? Yeah. And there's all kinds of, just off the top of my head, precious stones, antique jewels, and treasures of the prehistoric world.
I've got this car battery in a Ming vase. Hey. Oh, Ignacio, what do you think then? What do you make of the latest news out of the British Museum this week?
I can't get my head around it. Like, who robs the British Museum? It's all old rubbish. Like, if you're going to ransack a place, at least you want the latest iPhone, for goodness sake. Like, it's ridiculous.
Well, look, it's obviously moved the debate on. Is it time to look at returning certain items to their country of origin?
I'm not going anywhere.
I will drive you to Stranraer. Well, look, it's obviously moved the debate on. Is it time to look at returning certain items to their country of origin? Josie, what do you think?
Yeah, I think so, but I think it would be more fun if they just return them all to random places. Like, you've got an ancient Egyptian sarcophagus, you're sending that to Iceland. You've got Peruvian Inca jewellery, you're sending that to Greece. And that's not even deliberate, they're just using every...
What do you think about this then, Jim? Is it time to look at returning certain items to their country of origin?
Yes, I think when the pandas, they're going back, aren't they? They're going back. They've been a disappointment. For a laugh, we should just put a Fiat Panda back to China.
If you were in charge of your own museum, what would be in it and why?
I actually already am in charge of my own museum. And it's in one of the rooms in my house. And what it is I've got this massive collection of clothes which no longer fit me.
I think a good idea for a museum would be if we just reopened all of the old museums that have been closed because they weren't visited anymore, and just kick out all the people that are currently in there as a Weatherspoons. I think that would be a really good idea.
Love these ideas. These are great. Elaine, final thoughts on this to you. If you were in charge of your own museum, what would be in it and why?
I'd give the people what they really want in a museum and just have a cafe and a gift shop.
When my uncle worked at the Burrell Collection, a visitor asked him, "What is your favourite artefact?" And my uncle replied, "Van Gogh only had one ear." Well done, Josie and Ignacio. You get 2 points for that. It was the mashup of Kate Forbes speaking in Edinburgh and a nightmare for the British Museum. And at the end of that round, well done, the teams are all square. Now, much of our news is about public opinion, so to find out what stories people are talking about, we spoke to two friends of the show, writer and presenter Alistair Heather and BBC Scotland weather presenter Judith Ralston. It's the only reason Jim Smith came on the show this week. Josie and Ignacio, first of all, what story do you think Alistair is on about here?
£617 million. But hand on heart, I can't think of much in the way of output. There was that Batgirl film that they filmed in Glasgow that never got released. Maybe that's it. Maybe that was 600 million quid itself.
So, yeah, they're talking about the film industry and the money it's generating and bringing into Scotland.
Well done. Correct answer, Ignacio. Yes, this is the news that spending on film and high-end television production in Scotland has more than doubled in recent years. A study published by Screen Scotland on the economic value of the sector estimates that total spend on production of film, TV and other audiovisual content contributed a whopping £617 million to Scotland's economy.
Apparently, spending in Scotland's screen sector increased by 55% between 2019 and 2021. Now, going by those dates, is that increase in spending not likely to be explained by hand sanitizer and COVID tests?
Jim, what about you? I know you're a champion of Scotland. Are you surprised to hear this? Scotland's film and TV industry is thriving.
Not at all. No, we've got some beautiful scenery, don't we? And then
Beautiful.
we've got Glasgow, which looks like parts of American cities, so it's good, but it never have other parts of Scotland. I mean, you wouldn't see a remake of Jaws based off Anstruther, would you? Bloody hell, we're going to need a bigger boat.
Ignacio, if you were going to pitch a new film or TV show based anywhere in Scotland, what would it be?
The reason people come here to shoot is because it's mainly a cost-cutting measure. You know, you don't have to do much to locations. Like if, for instance, you wanted to shoot a film now on 35mm, like old black and white film stock, that's very expensive. It's very difficult to do because it's not in demand. But you could just set it in Aberdeen. Totally in black and white. It's perfect.
Josie, what do you think? If you were going to pitch a new film or TV show based anywhere in Scotland, what would it be?
Gritty drama, and it's set on the south side of Glasgow, and it stars an English woman. Just off the top of my head, fitting
Yeah,
my profile, who's also available for work. And what happens, it's about taking both your children to the park, but one of them started primary one and you're not used to them being in uniform and you're freaking out because you can't see them. And that one's called Wayne Spotting.
Elaine, if you were going to pitch a new film or TV show based anywhere in Scotland, what would it be?
Cow macking with Jane MacDonald.
Jim, if you were going to pitch a new film or TV show based anywhere in Scotland, what would it be?
It's like a sci-fi horror film set in east of Scotland where somebody accidentally released a massive mutant reptile and it's called Dundee Crocodile.
Well done. The money spent in TV and film production in Scotland is the right answer. Well done, Josie and Ignacio. Elaine and Jim, it's your turn now. What do you think Judith Ralston is talking about here?
Whether it's tinkling the ivories or strumming a guitar or pulling on a double bass, it's absolutely fantastic thing to learn, and it's something that you'll gain from as you head through life.
Jim, you all right?
Sorry, what?
Elaine, give him a nudge. Wake him up. He's entranced by Judith Ralston. You love her, don't you?
I think I actually do, aye.
Have you ever been in the same room as the two of them?
Well, yes.
What a night that was.
Well, Elaine, just to try and veer us back to breaking the news. So there we go. Judith was chatting away about something in the news this week. Elaine, what do you think Judith was on about there?
I think this is a story that says there's a link between learning to play an instrument and being a bit brighter.
There is indeed a link between children learning how to play a music instrument and improved thinking in later life, and it's been backed by a new study. Musicians were found to do slightly better in tests of their cognitive ability than those who had not played an instrument. Especially useful for learning is the recorder, as young children can learn a lot of new words from their dad as soon as they start playing one. Elaine, what do you make of this study then?
I think it leaves more questions than answers. I mean, like, does playing the woodblock along to Little Donkey in the Nativity mean I can join Mensa? Or, like, should I go on Only Connect because I know how to press the demo button on a Bontempi keyboard?
I took guitar lessons last year, actually, being 45 and that. I thought, right, because, you know, but you've got to put the work in and do the homework. But, of course, I would go in the car and I would put on, like, AC/DC, you know, and it's like a 10-minute drive, so you're absolutely pumped by the time you get there. Like, right, yes! And then it's like, oh, let's just do Handel's Water music. You know, it's not really...
Quite a contrast, isn't it?
You know.
Ignacio, what do you make of this study? I think people are going to be very careful about what instrument they choose. Each instrument carries with it a certain lifestyle as well. Like the harp, it might help dexterity for things like arthritis and like your knowledge and stuff. And also later on, like you're the type of person who's going to be drinking green tea. You know, that's the kind of person you are. If you learned, for instance, like a 5-string electric bass, you're going to get an STI, all right? That's just how it works. And obviously, you know, if you learn how to play a trombone, you are going to die alone. That is how it works.
You know, the saddest part about that is you die alone, there'll be no one there to go, wah, wah, wah. It's so sad.
Choose your instrument carefully. All right, if it's not playing a musical instrument, what do you do to keep your mind sharp? Elaine?
Every morning, before breakfast, yoga, 10 Sudokus, jigsaw, cryptic crossword, green tea, and some speed.
Is that working out for you?
Yeah.
Elaine, if you say you got ADHD, you get it free off the government.
Noted.
Elaine writing that down. 2 points go to Elaine and Jim. You're listening to Breaking the News from BBC Radio Scotland with me, Des Clark. Now, this round is all about who's in the news. I will play you a clip of a mystery person. All you have to do is tell me who it is. So, Elaine and Jim, you're up first this time. Who is this?
There are lots of things we can still do safely, like phone and video calls with friends and family, and staying active indoors. You can also exercise outside once a day.
So it's me, Jason Leach. I'm back.
I love that, Jim. Well done for giving the answer in character, and it's the right answer. It's Professor Jason Leach, Scotland's National Clinical Director, is indeed back in the news after saying he's concerned about winter amid a summer upswing in COVID cases. He also urged eligible people to get vaccinated when the programme starts next month. Josie, what about you? Are you pleased to see Jason Leach back in the headlines?
Well, so I lived in England during the first part of the pandemic, so I really feel like I missed his first round. That's like, people there were like, oh, you've missed out, Hen. I do feel a bit because we had Chris Whitty and like...
You missed some of Leach's best work.
Well, this is it. And then I saw a video of him and I was like, he's good. You guys, you didn't know what you had. If you'd have had to stick with Whitty,
The reason Scottish folk took to him is because he was only telling us to exercise once a day. They're like,
A message we could cope with, Jim, wasn't it? Elaine, are you pleased to see Jason Leitch back in the headlines?
He's concerned.
He is.
But, you know, on the Jason Leitch scale of worry, which is used by the World Health Organization, concerned is pretty low. If he moves from concerned to Jason Leitch's fretting, maybe start social distancing. If it goes up to Jason Leitch's perturbed, I'd say stockpile some bog-roll. Jason Leitch is distressed, work from home. If it reaches Jason Leitch is beside himself, start cutting your own hair and baking banana bread.
That's the Leitch scale explained by Elaine Malcolmson. Ignacio, what do you think about this idea then? Do we have to accept that COVID's going to become a worry every winter now?
I think it's important to be careful. Spain took things very seriously at the end of the first summer after COVID. A lot of my friends in the UK were seeing the news over there and seeing that the fire brigade were actually out bleaching the streets in Mallorca. And they were like, wow, they're taking this really seriously, the COVID. I said, no, that's actually just standard procedure after British people have been on holiday there.
Very true. What else would you like to see Jason Leitch give advice on? Jim?
I think he'd be brilliant at trying to give folk to give blood, another worthwhile cause, and we go, come and give your blood with me, Jason the Leitch.
Yes, 2 points go to Elaine and Jim. That was Professor Jason Leitch. Right, Josie and Ignacio, it's your turn now. Who is this and why are they in the news?
We suddenly realised we were playing to mums and dads, and I mean, like, the people that were coming to see us were totally different. And I think it was a very good thing, because, I mean, it was just gathering a much larger sort of audience.
It's Freddie Mercury, and there's a big hoo-ha at the moment because there's a play called Yoto Player, which I have for my kids, and they're trying to release Queen's greatest hits. The hoo-ha is that people are fuming because when they've released this card for toddlers, they've taken off the song Fat Bottom Girls.
Well, here's the thing. Obviously, they're saying this is shocking for children, but how shocked were our panel when they were growing up? So, Josie, what shocked you when you were a kid?
I was very prudish when I was a kid. I really remember that. I was what I really remember is going swimming and afterwards in the changing rooms seeing old ladies who I now think must have been like 25. And they'd be in the nude and thinking like, for shame, cover yourselves. And now I've had my own kids. I don't care. I do it in IKEA. Get it out. I know it's not plumbed in. It's my dream bathroom.
Ignacio, what shocked you when you were a kid?
When I was a kid, when I came over to visit the UK, I was very shocked to find, having seen the film Highlander, that Sean Connery is not Spanish. Such an authentic performance, yeah.
You would never know, mate. Never know. That's lovely. Elaine, what about you? We're talking about being shocked as a kid. What shocked you when you were a kid, Elaine?
Internment.
Yeah, I forgot it was tougher for you, wasn't it? Yeah. And we're talking about shocking children with these songs, but what shocked you when you were a kid?
Has anyone ever seen the original Bungle?
Yes.
From Rainbow.
From Rainbow. Totally different from the classic one.
Yeah, aye.
Yeah.
He looked a bit scary.
Frightening face,
aye.
Yeah.
And the kind of the nuclear war adverts and all that kind of stuff, you know. If you hear this, head for a bunker, you know.
The two things that shocked Jim as a kid were nuclear war and the original costume for the Rainbow character, Bungle. And he led with Bungle.
Yeah, in that order.
One of Queen's later albums was Innuendo, and as the late great Barry Cryer used to say, if you're not sure what an innuendo is, it's an Italian suppository. Freddie Mercury is indeed the right answer. Well done. 2 points go to Josie and Ignacio. And it's time now for our final quickfire round, which is all about deciphering the numbers in the news. So I will read out a headline. All the teams have to do is fill in the blanks. So get ready, teams. When we run out of time, you'll hear this.
Is it particularly bad?
That's Kirsty Walk there, trying to find out your favourite Michael Jackson album. Fingers on buzzers, here we go. 200 Watt have been released into the wild. Jim.
Neds.
Just to see how they cope. It's a brilliant answer, mate. 200 Watt have been released into the wild. Elaine.
Henry Hoover's. Picture it.
Josie.
Is it Henrietta Hoover's to mate with the Henry? Otherwise, they'll just die out again.
Yeah. Picture it. Picture it.
You gotta be sustainable.
200 Watt have been released into the wild. Ignacio.
Is it expats into Mallorca?
That should be the right answer. It's something else we're
Stop
looking...
the boats. Stop the boats.
$200 Watt have been released into the wild. We were looking for the answer of water voles.
Is it particularly bad?
Oh, there we go. That's our klaxon. Kirsty has walked. It means it's all over. And at the end of the quiz, our winners this week are Elaine Malcolmson and Jim Smith. Commiserations to Josie Long and Ignacio Lopez. And we'll leave you with the breaking news. Breaking news just in. King Charles arrived at Balmoral Castle to spend the next 3 weeks there on summer vacation. The new king says he's looking forward to a well-earned holiday after his first year of ever having a job. In Pakistan, 2 adults and 6 children were thankfully saved after being trapped for hours in a cable car above a ravine. The rescue effort was conducted via zip line and would have been over sooner, but the kids kept wanting to have one more go. And Vladimir Putin's rival Yevgeny Prigozhin was on the passenger list of a jet which crashed, killing all on board on Wednesday. What a tragic, unforeseen accident, said the Russian government in a statement they released on Tuesday. The news is broken. I've been Des Clark. Goodbye!